Hello again, and welcome back to 4-H Computers, Session 1, Dawn of a New Era. Pictured here are the world's two very first computer programmers. They were born roughly 200 years ago now. On the left is Countess Ada Lovelace, and on the right is Charles Babbage. Mr. Babbage designed the world's first computer, and it looked something like this. I say it looked something like this because back in the days before electricity, it was very difficult to make something precise enough to do the things that this computer was designed to do. So he was never actually able to build a working version back in the 19th century. But back in 1990, someone actually finally built this machine according to his design, and it worked. But back to these two. Um, the two of them, although they never didn't actually have a working computer to work with, they used Babbage's design to write programs. They both wrote programs, and they remain in some of Countess Lovelace's journals. Um, she was actually the first person to realize that this computing machine could do more than just math. It could actually be used to process symbolic logic of any kind. And of course, nowadays we know that computers do a lot of things besides just math. Now, as a reminder, this is a great example of how technology doesn't just spring out of nowhere. It usually evolves from other significant changes in the environment that happened previously. And in this case, Babbage was inspired by the Jacquard loom, which is a device that allows weavers to make uh, to mass produce textiles that are all perfectly correct. And the way it works is that these punch cards, where there's a hole, the thread would go over the textile, and when there wasn't, it would go under. So you could effectively kind of use these punch cards to color in your carpet or curtain or whatever is being made. And so you'd like do the reds with one card, and then do blue thread with another card, and then yellow thread with another card. And when you were done with this entire sequence of cards, you'd have a completed textile, and you wouldn't have to kind of focus on doing all the detailed weaving yourself. This was a huge step forward in weaving and made it possible to mass produce complicated designs. Uh, Babbage used this card technique to enter programs on his computer, or at least that was the plan. Uh, Ironically, 150 years later, people were still using cards just like this to enter computer programs. Right up until the 1960s or so, people were still using punch cards to enter computer programs. Now, I mentioned earlier that Babbage unfortunately didn't have electricity to make the detailed, precise machine that he wanted to make. But even electricity isn't enough to really make a computer efficient. This is ENIAC, a computer from the 1940s, and it is gigantic. It fills up a whole room, and it takes lots of people to plug in wires in and out. And the reason for this is because just having electricity doesn't mean that you have that little tinker toy that we talked about um, in the prelude to the class. You need a way for wires to turn off other wires electrically without doing it by hand. And ENIAC did not have our good friend the transistor. They had vacuum tubes, which are like little light bulbs, and they are huge compared to the switches that you see inside your phone, uh, which there might be billions of. Here's another picture of this same computer. I believe this was taken at the Museum of computer history, which is actually located in Mountain View. So it might be a good opportunity for a field trip sometime if you want to see more about the stories of the dawn of the computer age and how things evolved into the 20th century. That's all for this video. Stay tuned and we'll go more into details of our first session.